everybody, and welcome to Breakfast with the Deacons. I am happy to have you on board. And I know that everybody at this point in time is sipping a cup, sipping a cup. And yes, I had one of my, somebody who looks on at Breakfast with the Deacons, they just said, Deacon Derek, we have to make mugs for you all that would celebrate what it is you deacons are doing. So they made me this mug and they told me, bring it on set. So from now on, we're going to have Breakfast with the Deacon mugs. So I want to wish everybody, happy days. This is all about good news. That's what Breakfast with the Deacon is all about. My name is Deacon Derek Walcott, for those of you tuning in for the first time, and welcome on board. Glad that you have us in your bedrooms, in your living rooms, and I know that, with all the mass media today, people are watching us on their iPhones and smartphones. I'm not too sure how smart they are, but, but thank you for looking. To all the 26 countries that are seeing us, or maybe even more, welcome and good morning or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching. Now, every time we start Breakfast with the Deacons, we have a quote from Pope Francis, which we like to start with. And this is his quote today, and I love what he's saying today because it's so apt for, our topic today. He says, the role of the mass media has expanded immensely in these years, so much so that they are an essential means of informing the world about the events of contemporary history. Isn't that amazing? Today with me, we're going to be talking about some history. 125 years of history. Yes, we're going to be celebrating 125 years of history of the Catholic News of Trinidad and Tobago, all part of Camsel. And with me, I have, Lucille Nantu, and I have a special lady. Now, let me tell you all, Uncle Derek likes his, I'm a little bit of a fashionista. Not that I match all the time. But they have this lady to my left wearing polka dots. When I tell you, I fell in love with the polka dots. So we're going to pick her up today as she's going to be one of my guests here. And she's a consultant, a media consultant. I'm kind of consultant, but we're going to find out more about it. Lucille, welcome to Breakfast with the Deacons.
Thank you for having us.
We are celebrating.
Definitely. Celebration.
Excuse me, you look amazing. I love polka dots. And listen, the next time I'm coming on board is with polka dot suspenders. You got it. Nice to have you all.
Good morning,
Beautiful, beautiful.
This is Dr. Quinn Johnson.
I know. Hold on a minute. Let me introduce the lady in a big way now. After the polka dots, then comes the Dr. Quinn. So we have a doctor in the house and a deacon in the house and a GM in the house. We're talking about 125 years of this esteemed organization.
And not only 125 years, the oldest paper in circulation in Trinidad and Tobago.
Let's get a round of applause. The oldest paper in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes,
in circulation.
In circulation.
And Doctor, what is your role in all of this?
I've curated the archive and managed the digitization of the concise 125-year archive.
Right. We actually had all that information.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
In two places.
Wow.
Or three, or four, maybe.
Wow.
Catholic News.
1892, the GM/editor sort of laid out a policy that every paper is to be collected. One stored in the Catholic News office, one sent to the Registrar General, and the other to the Archbishop's house. Now, a fourth copy is also sent to the seminary. So there's every paper, 125 years.
Yes.
Now, it's also the second oldest newspaper in circulation in the Anglophone Caribbean, just after the Jamaica Gleaner. So, apart from it being the oldest, I think the Catholic News, Camsel, all the editors over the years, the Archbishop, must be commended for putting in place this this exercise or this policy for document preservation.
And what is your role specifically, Doc? Now, you have a PhD, so that means to say that you must be knowledgeable. And is this your area of expertise?
No, I'm not a curator by profession, but I have curated heritage collections like Marshall Montano's Archive, the Caribbean School of Dance, Three Canal, a number of archives.
Hold on. And soon to be Breakfast with the Deacons. We'll get you on that.
Okay. But curation really is, a curator essentially is an expert on a collection. But what you do, you classify each artifact. In this case, it is a newspaper. And you comb through and, you classify each artifact. And then you pull out themes that run through the archive. So, Freemasonry, East Indians, social justice, labor rights, NIS, works in the prison, the orphanage or orphans, number of issues that run through the archive, and then you present that to researchers or viewers, basically to get a sense of what is in this archive, what does it comprise.
Did you see there was Dr. Quinn had sent to us an article that we reproduced from the archive, and it was in Hindi.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, that catechism was published in Hindi. And also you see that there's the French language as well, a trilingual paper in essence, and that this paper also featured works, stories from St. Vincent, Grenada, St. Lucia, Martinique, very regional, very global.
And
So
the
we have a
Catholic
lot to be
news-
proud of.
Yes, and the Catholic news is still
Certainly.
very regional.
Certainly,
Still.
certainly. And it gets very pastoral from, I would say, the 90s, but from 1892 to the 80s, it is, the topics are very broad. The geography that it reaches and the audience is very broad and very diverse. So there's when you tell the average person, the Catholic news, it's 125 years, they're like, oh, okay, it's a religious paper.
Right.
But no, it packs a heavy punch in terms of journalism.
I like how that sounds.
And
It packs a heavy punch.
no, it does. So for the first, up to maybe the 40s, on the front page, all our annual exports of sugar, cocoa, coffee, asphalt is printed. How many tons have been exported? Cocoa exports, cocoa sales, that sort of statistic in terms of agriculture. There are statistics like in the prisons, 100 Afro-Trinidadians, 50 East Indians, 2 Venezuelans, 1 Scotsman, a Jamaican. But it goes even further. So it looks at the East Indians that are in prison and say there are 50, 48 do not speak English. This is in late 1890s. So it makes you wonder what sort of legal representation in terms of translation that they might have had.
Right.
So it's those valuable bits of statistics or journalism that adds to the diverse nature of this paper. It's quite fascinating. Oh, can I just add one more? There's
You
so
may,
many
you may.
gems. So like Herbert Dolsing.
Yes.
He
that is
wrote a
gem.
column from 1976 to 1986 on NIS, workers' rights. And in the NIS office, there are folders of his 10 years of columns,
Wow.
filed and used as reference.
And they're used as reference.
Because his
Yes.
columns were so relevant, so wide-reaching about rights. And,
Yes.
you're a common law widow, you have rights, you have benefits, you've been injured on the job. There are columns from the hospital chaplain and his experiences meeting people on death's door, meeting people who aren't Catholics but wanted to talk to someone. And fascinating archive, very diverse. The conversation about Freemasonry is there, very present. We don't speak about it anymore, but fascinating dialogue, fascinating journalism.
Great. You know, the thing is, and I always remember, you know, Archbishop Anthony Patton with his own little column,
Yes,
you know.
ask the Archbishop.
Not
Ask
little.
why, and that was tremendous. I mean, that
Very
used to be a
enjoyable
source
reading.
for me.
Yeah.
You know,
1975 to
Yeah.
2000.
75 to 2000.
And
Wow.
Father Nicholson as well.
Yeah, next corner.
Next corner, I remember
yes.
that. You know,
Right,
but
so
that whole one, yeah, okay, cool. You know, I remember reading it,
Yeah.
and that providing me with a source of information, that providing me with a source of so much wisdom.
That will be
You know.
online soon and searchable.
It's going to be online. That's amazing because you know, many times I travel throughout the Caribbean and I would be amazed at how many people read the Catholic news. I'm talking about in print.
Yes.
But now we're going online. Now they
We're
can
online
view it
already.
and so on. I know that.
We're on the archive, the entire
The ent-
125 years is now going to be digitized. Well, it is already, and searchable. The researchers can use it, and that will be accessible online. But this is just part of a series of things that's going to happen in this 125 years. First of all, we've already launched it with our pilgrimage support communication, and we had a winner coming from Barataria,
Right, I
going
think
to Rome.
that's correct.
Very excited
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the pilgrimage leaving from
Right.
Living Water.
Right.
Nice.
And we had
I
several.
got a chance to meet them actually,
Oh, really?
right here
Great.
right after breakfast with the deacons.
Great. So there was that, and then on Saturday there's a big mass that celebrates this anniversary, and it's actually on the 6th of May.
Yeah.
Because it was Friday, the 6th of May, 1892, that the first edition of the Catholic News was published. And so it's on Saturday, the 6th of May, that we have the Mass. The Papal Nuncios, the Chief Celebrant, Archbishop Harris will be there. All our vendors, the people who support us in all the parishes, the columnists, our staff working hard to put it together. And we're having a sharing after that in true Catholic news style. And that's part of it. And then we have the launching of the archive, our e-paper, and that aspect of it in June of this year.
So in June of this year, we're going to be launching the archival part.
yes.
And how long have you been working on it, Doctor?
We have been working on it maybe a year.
Right, okay.
Really, the digitization and curation and indexing was about 8 months. But we must mention that this was in a really fantastic partnership with the National Archives of Trinidad and Tobago. They, I believe, were formed in the 50s, so they received all of the papers from the Registrar General, so they now hold a hard copy of this paper archive, but it is through their reprographics or digitization studio that we were able to digitize these papers at industry standard.
Wow.
So they also hold a copy of this digital archive, which is important, that it's because also the Catholic News is part of their remit. It is an official press publication. So that is we're very appreciative of that alliance, because essentially that's how things can get done, through shared resources, partnerships.
You know.
This
partnerships.
weekend there's a special commemorative issue, and I would suggest that everybody purchases a copy this weekend. It has in it several articles from the archive. There are interviews with former editors, there are interviews with present staff. It's going to be it's always an excellent issue, but there's a more excellent issue? I don't think so. But
You can say John Breakfast with the Deacons. I'm giving you license.
There's a very special commemorative
Yeah.
issue this weekend that will be available throughout the month of May if you don't get it this weekend, but I would suggest you try to get it this weekend. We also have a special promotion running on our Facebook page where anybody celebrating a wedding anniversary, not a deacon's anniversary, a wedding anniversary in the month of May,
Right.
you can write about the proposal, about the wedding day, put it up on our Facebook page, and depending on the number of likes that you get, you can actually get a trip to any Caribbean destination courtesy Caribbean Airlines.
Hold on a minute. Just say that again. Hold on. You know, we want our viewing public to hear this. Now, is this open to those who are watching Breakfast with
Of
the
course,
Deacons?
it's open to everybody.
Wait. Throughout the Caribbean and wider
Yes,
world. Do
yes.
you realize that the millions of people who watch this
That's
show
cool.
are going to come on board?
Okay, go to our Facebook page.
Go to the Facebook page.
Go to
But
the Facebook page.
Go to,
Get
say
your
that
family
again.
and friends to
You
like.
Go to the Facebook page. You want to tell them about you're celebrating your anniversary.
Right.
You know, and all the you know, the I guess the romance in the anniversary. Yes?
That's quite true.
And if they have the most amount of likes, then they will get a chance to travel to any destination throughout
and
the
then
Caribbean.
you can celebrate with each other.
Honey,
Thanks to Caribbean Airlines.
honey, you heard that. You heard it first on Breakfast with the Deacons.
We also have some vouchers as well
Right.
available from Hello TT.
Right.
So those are also prizes that will be given out for that promotion. So I want to say that this is a very, very proud moment. I certainly a very small part of a vision that somebody had in 1892. We look at our motto that we got then, our motto that was given to us by the then Archbishop Vincent Flood. It's a quote taken from St. Augustine that says, in essentials unity, in non-essentials liberty, in all things charity. And if you listen to that, it's something we should hold on to even today, 125 years after. In essentials unity, in non-essentials liberty, in all things charity. And I mean, for Archbishop Vincent Flood to give that to the Catholic News, for them to hold on to it as our motto, it's very significant. And I think we need to look at it all the time that we see it and read something from it. So sometimes, you know, we as Catholics, we take these things for granted.
You know,
and we have to recognize the history that was created.
Lucille, we should have that on the top of our Catholic News every single
It
publication.
is.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
So it is.
It's right under the
Always.
masthead, since 1892.
Used to be in
under the
Latin.
masthead.
There it is.
Has always been there.
It's always been
the last
there.
100.
It was in Latin at one
It was in
time.
Latin.
It was in Latin.
It was in Latin at one time.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
I don't know.
In essentials unity, in non-essentials liberty, in all things charity. Wow! You know, discipline, tolerance, and production. I mean, you all should have taken this, you know? Okay, so let me know all of the celebrations that are going to be taking place to celebrate such an incredible achievement.
All right. Well, this is not all, but this is what we have on the card so far. May 6th, significant. Mass and celebration, Mass at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception.
What time? Because people
it's
don't
at
want
10
to come down.
o'clock. It's
10
at 10
o'clock
o'clock.
on the 6th of
On
May.
the 6th of May. Unfortunately, the sharing is only for invitees for obvious reasons, but the Mass is for everyone.
The Mass is...
Yes.
Look, bring something and share. Yeah, bring something and share. I don't believe in this kind of thing, you know what I mean? We are from a society.
Might I
Bring
add that,
something,
you know, though there's this Mass in the cathedral, in a sense, all parishes should have it had a
Yes.
Mass that coincided with this
Yes.
125th anniversary on the 6th of May.
And certainly give mention to
yeah,
the 125th
yeah, on the
anniversary of
weekend.
our paper. Catholic News is our paper. All of us.
Yeah, regional
Yeah,
too, and
yes,
they should have
regional.
The second oldest in the Anglo-Caribbean. You mentioned
yeah, just after the Jamaica
just
Gleaner.
after the Jamaican Gleaner.
Yeah.
The oldest in Trinidad and
Circulation.
Tobago.
in circulation.
In circulation.
But when we go live, it will be the first digital newspaper archive.
You mean nobody else has done this?
No, so like the
Excuse me. You heard it first on Breakfast with the Deacons.
Yeah.
None of the other television stations, none of the other...
so
you
the
know,
Port of Spain, the Trinidad Gazette, which started in the early 1800s.
Right.
It's not digitized.
That's good news.
So, yes.
And there were many papers that began before the Catholic News,
Right.
but have ended obviously, that haven't been digitized as yet.
Is it because
So-
we don't have the material, or what's the story?
Maybe they don't have a Dr. Quinn Johnson.
Political will.
Dr. Johnson, political
We have the expertise. We have a national archives with a fabulous machine and staff. Political will, heritage and documents and preservation. That's where
No.
it's at. It's valuing that in the first place.
We have to have another discussion about that on Breakfast with the Deacons, because that I think, challenges me, because we have such a rich heritage.
And your document heritage is just as important.
Right. And why don't we digitize it? I mean, that's the way of the future.
Yeah.
So we were talking about all that we are going to be doing to
Right.
celebrate this
Right.
125th anniversary.
We're going to have a special commemorative booklet, soon to be announced when that would be available to everyone. We also have the launch, as we just spoke about, of the 125-year-old digital archive and the e-paper. That's happening in June. The launch of the newly redesigned Catholic News website, also at the same time in June. Catholic News has had a history of training in communications from ever since. So we want to have a digital workshop for the departments and different groups through a group that we just started called the IPCP, the Integrated Pastoral Communication Planning Committee, which is regional. So we're going to have a training workshop for our departments over here during that time. We have a Catholic News Vendors Appreciation, all these people who come out every weekend at every Mass and sell our Catholic paper.
Yes.
To have
Central,
a time of
very
appreciation.
important.
Very important. Those are the people that drive the Catholic News, actually, and very appreciative of their work.
Yeah.
And then we have Parang in the City, which we usually have, but with a little bit more flavor this year, a little bit more Parang
So,
at
yeah.
the end of the year.
And that has been pretty successful.
That has been pretty successful. It has been. And during that, there will be several promotions on our social media, and the Archbishop Live will continue, and that also has been very successful. So Catholic News, I don't know how to say it in any other way, but to say that we need to own it as Catholics, and we need to be proud of it as Catholics, and we need to contribute to it as Catholics. When I read the very first issue of 1892, all the questions asked, it's on the first page of that issue, before launching into this paper, why a paper, what is the reason? And the main question and answer to that in the paper is that because there was a need by the Catholic Church and the Archdiocese to give the people information and knowledge, not just on Catholicism, but coping mechanisms with society, gospel teachings that help us to walk through the paths. The economy right now, there are a lot of things going on in Trinidad and Tobago that people need to learn how to cope with it, without giving up. And the Catholic News has done that.
Social justice.
Social justice, a very important part
It runs
of it.
through
Runs
the
right
archive.
through, and still does. And not only for Trinidad and Tobago, we embrace our brothers and sisters in the region. We have our Caribbean news, we have our international news. People come to the archives, people go to the UE Library, people go to NALIS. If you want to find out about 1990, about National Archives as well, 1970, it's in the Catholic News. It's a Catholic paper, but it documents history as well.
Who was the first editor?
Of the Catholic News.
Charles, I should know these things, right? It was Charles Williams, but a number of Dominican
Yes, the
priests
Dominicans.
throughout the
And the
years.
Holy Ghost fathers as
Holy
well. 'Cause
Ghost,
Father
yes.
Nicholson, Father Michel David Tye.
Yeah, there were a number of editors, but they functioned as manager editor.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas now there's a GM and then there's an editor, but they function. Of
Yes,
course,
most
it would
of
have
them
been that person and the person that printed the paper.
Right,
A
right.
staff of like two. And but I'm
had a-
glad you asked that. We also should bear in mind that the printery was at the
In Belmont.
Belmont Orphanage.
Yes. We had our
And
own
a lot of
printery.
the
Wow.
stuff.
So we had our own
Yes.
printery.
Up
Yeah,
until
our
the
own
1974, up until it was moved
The Express does it now.
to the Independence Square.
Right.
But in the early decades of the Catholic News, it was staffed by orphans in terms of developing this printing press skill. So there are archival pictures of the orphans in the, working in the printing press with the journalist or the editor. So those orphans are very much part of the creation of this archive. Catholic News also offered a printing service called cards, letterheads, to generate income.
Because you were called
Of-
Printing
of-
Services Limited, actually.
Yeah.
Printing
Services
Services Limited.
Like
Yeah,
how,
it's 2008
Yes.
we changed
letterheads,
Camsel.
flyers,
Right.
call cards. They also, and with the orphans, shoe shining services, laundry services, generate a lot of income.
But Derek, I want to say to everybody looking on at this program, advertise in your Catholic paper. There are a lot of business people out there. We have packages on, we have bundling on now with our social media and our print media. Support your own. Let's come out and identify with it. When we look at the ads that were in the archive and we sent it to some of our advertisers before, they were like, wow, we put that? There's an ad going in this weekend from a particular utility that has our ad from way back when, 1963, I think.
Right.
And then there's in 2017, and then a congratulate. If you look at the difference between the two, where they have evolved and where we have.
Yes, yeah.
So it is a proud moment. It is a very proud moment for the Archbishop, for the Papal Nuncio, and there are even more news where that is concerned that you will hear at the launch. At that time, you have to save a little bit. We can't give all.
You can't give it.
I
You can't give the
all
whole
the-
thing.
No, we can't. But I want to publicly say thank you to Dr. Quinn Johnson, because she came into the office, she saw our archive, the hard copies, she saw it we have it from 1892 to present, and she says, no, we have to preserve this. We have to preserve this. And there was a partnership, and it is preserved for all.
Preserve and disseminate.
Yes.
Sure.
Dr. Quinn, I want to thank you on behalf of the Catholic Church. I know Lucilla is doing that, but I want to thank you, for just bringing your gifts to us and for making this happen, for us to be the #1 digitized newspaper archive in Trinidad and Tobago. That's amazing, and thank you for your wonderful gift.
Pleasure.
And thank you to the staff of Camsel, all the present staff of Camsel, everyone
And they've
who
been
has
working hard.
contributed. They've been working very, very hard.
Listen, you've been watching Breakfast with the Deacons. You are watching Breakfast with the Deacons. So go out and buy your Catholic news. Support our newspaper. Not only that, but Lucille just said, you businessmen, put your ads in the Catholic news. Do you know we don't print it every day? So your ad runs for the whole week. So it's not like other papers, we read it today and we don't see it again tomorrow.
Yes,
it's there for the whole week.
And your ad is seen because there's a ratio, content. It's not just ads.
Now, let me ask a question, because those people are going to want to know, do we have these same ads up on our digital?
Yes, we're offering bundling now. I mean, from June, when everything is up and running, you
Right.
can advertise on our website, certainly.
And social media.
And on social media.
So we're on social media. You'll be able to see it digitized.
Your
go up
mobile
on
app.
Facebook, your mobile app. Hey, they have a good app, yes. And so you're having all of this. So you have your print media, you have it on your electronic media.
Yes.
We're now digitizing all our archives. That's going to be coming out soon for people to look at, yes.
And also, we must also recognize that this archive is part of a larger archive, in that you have the Vatican archives. And this is part of their archive, because this is an archive of the Church of the New World.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
This is going to be part of the Vatican archive.
It is not going to be, it is.
It is.
It is part.
We're big. We're big, guys. We're big.
Thank God.
Thank God, you've been watching Breakfast with the Deacons. We've had so much good news, and I just want to go back to Pope Francis's whole thing today. He says the role of the mass media has expanded immensely in these years, so much so that they are an essential means of informing the world about the events of contemporary history.
And yesterday was World Press Freedom Day, and at the end of May, it's Communications Day. So it's a month.
Thank you for watching. Tune in tonight. Listen, and then we're also uploading all our programs. Breakfast with the Deacons will be on YouTube, so you can just go in and type Breakfast with the Deacons on YouTube, and you'll see all our shows, and this will be there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. Those who are on their multimedia systems, God bless you. See you next week.
Thank you, Derek.
Bye-bye.